Hello and welcome to today's video. In this video we're going to look back at how my portfolio performed over the 7,000 days of January. Before we get into it though, let's take a look at my short-term goals for January. They were to not panic as things started to look pretty dire towards the end of December, to research some safer options and to potentially transfer some of my income funds to ones that would give me more growth in the long term. I think I held my nerve pretty well while the whole world looked like it was set to implode. We already had a market in freefall at the start of the month, and then with inflation starting to bite, a potential oil crisis in the Middle East, and then with Biden and Putin being only a few days away from whipping their trousers off and having a very fleshy sword fight, the whole market was left looking shaky than one of Prince Andrew's excuses. I was still optimistic though, and when one of my favourite long-term funds, the Fidelity Global Focus, was at a low I hadn't seen for some time, I took the jump and invested £100 as a way to cost average my way in, but more on that in a bit. A week or so after, Tesla announced their earnings and the share price tanked. Their quarterly results were actually really impressive, but I think the thing that spooked investors was more the talk of potential supply issues as chips are still very much in short supply, and also Elon's desires to focus on robotics rather than announce any new cars, which are still the driving force, if you excuse the pun, of the company. I'm pretty sure if they go down the robot route, it'll look more like something from a high-budget sci-fi film rather than this little fella. Now, one thing I was not aware of when it comes to Hargreaves Lansdown is that apparently you cannot buy fractional shares in their ISA. As I own fractional units of some funds, I assumed I could do the same with shares. A fractional share is where you don't invest enough to own one whole share, and seeing as Tesla shares were around the £650 mark, only the more serious investors would be buying whole ones. Still, at £650, this looked like a bargain to me, especially after seeing their results, and I topped my ISA up hoping to buy a chunk of the action. Unfortunately, that purchase was rejected as I only put £500 in, and by the time I'd sent that email to let me know, their stock value had already risen and it started to feel a bit like a risk again. This is something I'm keen to get into in the future, so we'll be more prepared next time, but with more talk of a market crash, I think for now I'll bide my time. This left me with the question though, as to what do I do with the £500? Do I start to go down the route of buying individual shares, or do I stick to funds? One tip I do have is maybe invest in MSIP, as apparently this cold is going to last for the rest of my life. One thing I've also noticed with the Hargreaves Lansdown Stocks and Shares ISA is that the trading fee for shares is quite high, but it does give you the benefit of being shielded from tax, which could be something to think about if the share price does rocket. The fee also means you're more likely to invest rather than gamble, and hopefully encourage you to research the company's fundamentals. If you want to see what path I choose, then please subscribe for any future content. I'm still pretty happy with the balance of income to accumulation for now, although for the foreseeable future I think I can continue to lean more towards accumulation. I did get another dividend payment at the end of the month, which has kept the monthly average nicely above the £1.50 mark. I also received 95p in naughty bonus payments. I didn't receive my usual payment from the Eden Tree Responsible Fund, and I've noticed some months you may get a missed payment and other months you get double to make up for it, and as the amount is so little, it's not something I'm really going to lose sleep over. So if you'd like to join me by hiding behind your hands and squinting through the gaps between your fingers, let's see how bad my portfolio got hit this month. As you can see, it's not been a good one, with all my funds taking a massive hit, apart from the Artemis income, that actually saw a small gain. In real terms though, my portfolio is currently down a further £260 odd on last month, which is not good, but unfortunately this is all just part of it. If it was all graphs of lovely lines constantly heading up, then everyone would be doing it, but you need to make sure you can weather the bad times as well. Personally, I'm treating this as a good time to look for putting more cash into my ISA to buy things while they're on discount. If they drop further, I will still continue to add money, but maybe a bit more cautious. Remember, I'm in this for the long term, which is what I will continue to focus on. Hopefully in 5 years' time I can look back and be glad I put so much in while the prices were low and overall the markets will continue to rise. How are you feeling about things currently though? Are you holding off for a market crash, or are you optimistic we'll see a short recovery? Let me know in the comments. I mentioned at the start that I added more cash to the Global Focus Fund. When I bought it, the unit price had slid down to £2,958, which was a massive drop from where it had been. I was hoping it wouldn't fall much more, but to my surprise it just kept falling and continued to decline nearly another £200. You can see the decline a lot more clearly when I switched to the 6-month price chart. I've run through each individual fund's information briefly. I won't spend too much time on these as they all tell the same story, and to be honest, I've gone through enough tissues blowing my nose, I can't afford to start crying over these. On the plus side though, every single one picked up on the last day of January as some of the factors I mentioned at the start of the video have become less of an issue. Let's hope they keep moving up in that direction again. That's it for today. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.